Bee biodiversity has rapidly plummeted over the last few decades. Scientists have discovered that there were a quarter fewer species reported between 2006 and 2015 compared to the 1990s. Hi, my name is Catherine Rolla. This is The Buzz on Bees. Do you know what makes a beehive? First, there are the worker bees. They take care of a lot. They forage for pollen and nectar, tend to the queen and drones, feed larvae, and other jobs to preserve the survival of the colony. Next, there are the drones. These are male honeybees whose only job is to reproduce with the queen. Speaking of, she's the most important of all. To make a queen bee, worker bees feed one larvae a substance called royal jelly. It is richer than regular food and vital to make a queen bee. Once she emerges, her only job is to produce lots of larvae to help the colony. She is the only bee who can do this. Why are bees so important to our environment, you may be asking? Bees are responsible for 1/3 of the world's crop production. All the apples, oranges, and other fruits and vegetables of the world would disappear if bees were to go extinct. From April 1st, 2019 to April 1st, 2020, nearly 44% of colonies were lost. Summer 2019 was marked the highest losses recorded, while winter 2019 to 2020 were the lowest. So what are some reasons that bees are on a decline? Invasive species are a huge issue for bees. This is a little mite called Varroa destructor. They are public enemy number 1 for bees. They latch onto bees and start feeding on their blood and fat. They can start to reproduce once inside the colony, and after that, it's too late for the bees. Scientists have seen more bees falling victim to parasites like this due to their exposure to pesticides over the last few years, damaging their immune system. Use of herbicides can seriously harm bees. They have chemicals in them, like glyphosate, that can be devastating to a bee's health. Climate change is another big issue for the bees. Since temperatures are rising, bees' habitats get damaged and they need to relocate. These location choices would continue to decrease, and they would eventually have nowhere else to go. I visited 2 bee farms during my research. The first bee farm was at Carter Hill Orchard. They had a small bee farm with 15 hives. They used these hives to pollinate the entire orchard. The second farm I went to was Busy Bee's farm. This one was a little bit more hands-on. They had a huge apiary, which is where the bees stay. They first taught me all about how the hives work, everything from each type of bee to all the things you can make with what bees produce, such as wax, lotion, and of course honey. I even got to get up close and hold a honeycomb. I helped harvest honey and move bees back into the enclosure. We had to wear these giant suits to protect us from the bees. However, these bees don't get angry unless you provoke them, so we were okay. The most interesting part was watching where the queen went. Wherever she went, a swarm of bees followed her. Hundreds of worker bees trying to take care of the queen and make sure she's okay. Both farms have had these hives for years. One way to see growth is by making your own. I made a design for my bee garden to start a chain reaction. A bee garden is a really easy and fun way to attract bees and see them thrive. It only takes a few plants to get started, like tulips, lavender, or mint. It can be big or small. Your bees will thank you, and your stomach will too. This is my bee garden. I have 10 different plants: mint, basil, sage, thyme, lilacs, lavender, chives, bee balm, oregano, and honeysuckle. This is a pretty big garden, but it is great to have lots of different plants and promote biodiversity. I can share this build online, and so other people can build one too. Why would you want to build one? Bees need our help to survive now more than ever. This way we can create a better environment for bees to pollinate and grow our flowers and forests. Planting more flowers is also very helpful for Mother Earth and will create a cleaner place in general. If bees keep declining, 70% of our food supply would be gone. This would directly affect the other 30% because herbivores would not be able to eat, causing them to die off. It's important to help bees because they do so much for us, and most of us don't even realize it. We cannot survive without bees' help. Thank you.